Bianca Scali. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Fine, fine, lovely. So, how did we come across Bianca Scali? You achieved, what is this word? Proxime Accessit, by Chessit,
That's
depending on what you want
correct.
to say, at St. Dominic's Priory College. So, what does Proxime Accessit mean?
So Proxime Accessit is a runner-up ducks. So obviously you've got your ducks who came first in the school for the highest ATAR, and then I got the second highest ATAR in my school for year 12 in 2024.
2024. So what subjects? I think you also got to achieve that. You must have achieved some
Yes.
merits along the way.
So in 2024, I studied English Literary Studies, Biology, and Legal Studies, and I merited all three. And then alongside that, I also was in the University of Adelaide Head Start program, where I received high distinctions in both global politics and comparative politics. And then earlier in 2023, I did stage two Italian and I DUX stage two Italian for my year.
Oh, excellent. So you did that in well, technically you're year 11.
Yes, so
You
I
did
did
Italian.
Italian in year 11.
And you did
Yes,
some university courses last year in year 12.
correct.
Excellent. And your studies, I heard English, biology, and legal studies. So
Legal
that's quite a
studies.
diversity,
Yes,
quite a range of subjects.
it is. Yes, it is. And then this year I'm studying a double degree in law and international relations with a minor in Italian studies at the University of Adelaide.
Aha, yes. I gather now, I don't know if it's a new design in the program, but international relations now does have languages uh, in them. So you continue some Italian. Uh,
Yes, I will.
well, congratulations, Auguri. So,
Thank you.
hang on, you're doing Italian now already?
Yes, so I've started doing Italian, which is unfortunately not offered at Adelaide University. It's offered at Flinders, so I do that cross-institutionally. But it has been a bit of a gap since I did finish stage two Italian and have started doing university Italian. So I'm trying to bring myself back up to speed with grammar and, vocabulary and all that. But yes, it's good so far.
Okay, well, let's go back to you said what it was like. How do you study to achieve such a high result as you did?
I think there was a lot of emphasis on organization. I pride myself on being an organized person, and I think planning is really at the forefront of that. I always tracked what assignments I had, the due dates, and then when I was doing assignments, I sort of broke them down into smaller tasks. That way, it was less overwhelming when it came to actually doing the work for them, and that's what I found really helped me. And then not only just, I wasn't the type of person who was focused solely on school. I had things outside of school that I was involved in. For example, I worked while in year 11 and 12, and I'm involved in volunteering and obviously social activities as well. So having a balance between those two is also definitely important.
Okay, volunteering. What sort of volunteering did you do?
So
Did
I
you?
volunteer at my local church, the Clearview Kilbane Catholic Parish. I'm involved in reading at the masses and also helping out with the children's liturgy, which is generally targeted at children aged 12 and under to help them understand the gospel readings and also do corresponding activities in that.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And for Italian, how did you bring yourself up to speed there?
Or at the moment, I haven't done a great deal, to be honest, with bringing myself back up to speed. Obviously, there was a long break between finishing year 12 and starting university, and I was away for quite a bit of time during that break overseas. So I didn't have time while I was overseas to do much Italian, but I did purchase some books to read in that break, which I did do. And then in the past few weeks, I've just been going over and revisiting grammar and doing exercises and all of that just to help keep on top of the work. But luckily, we have started, it is intermediate Italian, but we have started from a pretty basic level. So it's good in the sense that we're not starting from where I left off, we're
Yes.
starting from a bit of a lower level to, I guess, ease us into learning Italian again.
And while you were in year 11 studying at school, what sort of strategies did you use for Italian?
I think, yes, for Italian. I think the main thing was just always keeping on top of work in class. And I was very big on asking questions. I was the type of person to bother the teachers a lot with asking questions and getting lots of advice on drafts and going above and beyond in the sense that I wasn't just going to stay restricted to the materials that we were given in class, but also providing myself the opportunity to go out and do my own research, read a bit more, watch some videos to expand my knowledge as well.
Watch videos.
But languages is,
yes.
I was going to say, sorry, languages are hard to learn. And it is a bit of memorization, but it's also a lot of putting it into practice as well. For example, in conversations and like practicing writing and all that.
So, and who can you practice your conversations with?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have anyone to practice at home. My grandparents have unfortunately passed away, and when they were alive, they spoke English to me. And when they did speak Italian, it was the Calabrese dialect, which is quite a bit different to standard Italian. And then my dad also speaks the dialect, but doesn't speak it very often. So I have no one to speak Italian with at home. So I was very reliant upon my incredible Italian teacher and my peers during year 11 and 12. And then in university, it's probably going to be much of the same where I'm reliant on having those conversations with my peers during class and also with the teacher.
Okay, can we name your teacher at St. Dominic's?
Sure. Miss Tony Riccio, Signora.
Tony Riccio.
Yes.
Okay, optimal. Okay. Well, congratulations also to Tony Riccio then to have contributed to this outcome. And now I understand actually have you met anyone in these university classes that you might have known or surprised you?
Not necessarily. I did meet Emily, who you
Emily?
had interviewed,
Yes.
but no one else. There's a couple of other students who are actually year 12s doing the same university Italian course as me, which is very impressive.
Yes.
But otherwise, not really.
Well, okay, so it's nice that you met Emily and you somehow discovered that you've both been
Yeah,
on air.
it was very much a coincidence. I think we were just talking about what we had planned for the week ahead, and today was a very chock-a-block day for me. I've got something on basically every hour of the day today.
Okay.
And yeah, we just happened to stumble across the fact that you had interviewed her not that long ago, and that obviously you're interviewing me today.
Yes, and one question I asked her, and I always ask people in your situation, why did you choose Italian? Because I gather at years 11 and 12, not many people do take a language.
Yes,
Generally, language is not only Italian.
yes. In general, a lot of people don't choose a language, and that is very disheartening for me. But I chose Italian obviously because of my cultural heritage. I'm half Italian, half Maltese. So my dad's side of the family is Italian from Calabria, and then my mum's side of the family, they're from Malta in Zabar. And I didn't grow up speaking Italian because my nonni, they spoke to me in English because they were able to. I've been doing Italian since reception in primary school,
Oh,
but
wow.
obviously what you learn in primary school doesn't really equip you for being able to properly understand and speak Italian. And I knew as soon as I went to my first school tour at St. Dominic's, when they said, "Oh, if you do Italian, you could go on a study tour to Italy." I was like, "Oh my goodness, I really want to go on that study tour to Italy," because I hadn't gone to Europe at that stage, and I unfortunately still have not been able to go. But I chose it not just because of that study tour, obviously, but because of my culture. And I continued doing Italian when it was optional to do it, starting in year 10, I think it was optional. And we had quite a small class. And so what they did, they combined the year 11s and 10s at the time. So in year 10, I was doing year 11 Italian. And then in year 11, I was doing year 12 Italian. And although unfortunately the study tour wasn't able to happen because of COVID, there is no regrets in doing Italian at all. I think it's so beneficial to learn a language. It's so rewarding. And I think a lot of people really neglect that fact in any language, not just Italian. And they're just so unique. And I think it's just so rewarding to know how to speak another language, especially when we're in such a multicultural society.
Yes. So, and yes, so there are important elements in having a language apart from the cultural connections, but the value in one's career and for interpersonal, well, and social cohesion. But what's next? You've already, I guess, given us a hint. You're studying international relations.
Yes.
Where do you think at this stage that's going to take you?
I'm not entirely sure where law and international relations will take me. I've been looking at the diplomacy path, especially with the language that will definitely come in handy. And what I've generally thought about is working at the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Canberra, and hopefully getting into one of those graduate programs a few years down the track when I have graduated in 5 years' time. So that is something I'm hopefully looking to get into. Not really practicing law, as some people have suggested to me. That's not really where I see myself going, but doing something possibly either government agency based or within a not-for-profit organization, but something that combines elements of diplomacy and where I can possibly put my language skills to use as well.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. And I see lots of books in the background on this video.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
I'm just in like the bottom level of the Bar Smith Library at the moment, tucked away in the room that they have down here, surrounded by books. As you can see, I think it's
Yeah.
actually the music collection. Not that I know much about music, they're all music related books. But yes, it's a lovely library down here, and it's one of the few places in the university where you can actually find some quiet areas. So it was perfect for this conversation.
Wide areas. So now let's come back. You've kind of narrowed your scope to law and international relations, but
Yes.
you'd said you had English studies, biology, and law. How did those choices come about? They're quite
Yes, they are quite different to each other. So, English has always been one of my strengths. I enjoy writing. I tend to be quite good at it, and I like analyzing text and reading. I am a reader. I do like reading, although I have to say I've slacked behind a bit this year. I usually aim to read 20 books a year, and there used to be years where I could read 50 books in a year.
okay.
But I have to admit, I have not yet finished a book this year, which I'm quite frankly a bit ashamed of. And I think my English teacher might be a bit frightened when I say that too, but
Yeah.
I'm working on that. So yes, English because I love English. Legal studies obviously correlates to me wanting to do law and being enrolled in law this year. So it was sort of setting the foundations for that. And then biology was probably the random one, because I was deciding between either a couple years back doing an allied health occupation, um, most likely would have been occupational therapy or law. So I had to do the biology just in case I wanted to go into occupational therapy. But I also do enjoy biology. I think that side of things, having more of a science subject rather than just being all humanities and writing based, was quite good as well.
Yes. Okay. So excellent sort of backgrounds. Is a quite a broad range of interests, but you've excelled in all of them, and I think it boils down to the method that you were describing. So you've got that good concepts of how to prepare and how to work, as
Yes.
well as
And
having
as
the
my, you
extracurricular
go.
activities. Yes.
Yeah. And as my parents always said to me, it's not like I'm putting in the effort for me and not for them. It's like they always said to me, like, what you put in is what you're going to get out. And if you put an effort in, year 12 to get a good result, that's going to be beneficial for your future. If you don't want to put an effort to get a good result in year 12, well, that's on you and that's your decision. But I chose, I want to, you know, make something of myself. And I knew where like I had to go, what I had to do to get where I wanted, like after year 12. And so the effort was obviously needed to do well.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well that's cool. Now, and who's teaching Italian at Flinders? Is that Stefano Bono?
Yes, that's correct. And Antonio.
And who else?
Antonio Curuli?
Ah, yes.
Curuli?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ottimo. Yes, he's
So,
the daughter from Italy. So it's good that we have
yeah.
that support from the Italian government for the Italian language. Excellent. And Stefano Bono is a lovely gentleman, very committed to the teaching. Uh, okay. Well, again, thank you for having come on to the program, and I'll let's close now by asking if there's any particular songs or singers that are of interest to you from Italy or
I do like
Italy.
I I'm not a huge music person, but if I had to say a couple of Italian artists, um, Marco Mengoni, who was the Eurovision contestant for last year, and his song Due Vite, and then I think You Can't Pass the classic Ricci e Poveri. And then a couple years ago, I also happened to stumble upon Patrizio. He's like an opera, not opera, but like a ballad type singer.
Yes.
Patrizio someone, and I can't remember his last name. It started with a B, but I went to a concert a couple years ago and he was like the pre-act to that and he was quite good as well.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but I have found, there you go, Marco Mengoni con Due Vite, the official video, official from Sanremo 2023. So,
Yeah,
no, well, grazie a Bianca Scali. Congratulations again.
thank you.
And well done to your teacher and to the school to have supported you. Actually, one thing, let's go back a bit.
Oh, good.
I've come across several instances now of students doing the SACE in year 11 and doing extremely well. So first of all, that shows excellent skills and capabilities, organizations. How is that common, or if it's just been a coincidence that I've come across it?
I think in my case, it was sheer luck that I was able to do stage 2 in year 11, only because we had such small class size that they had to combine 2 year levels, and it only really made sense that if we had the capabilities to do the grade above, that we do the grade above. But I think it's becoming more common across schools to offer year 11s the opportunities to do year 12 subjects because what it does, it lightens their workload in year 12 if they do well. So instead of, for example, doing 5 subjects in year 12, they might have done 1 subject in year 11 and then 4 subjects in year 12. And I guess in that sense, it also gives students, and what I found for me, a taste of what year 12 is like, because in terms of assessments and the difficulty of assessments, it is a bit different from year 11. So in that way, it's sort of able to prepare you by doing the year 12 subject.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, thank you. Congratulations. And I know you've got a very busy day today, so you can
I
get on
do.
to your next appointment in a minute.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
And now Marco Mengoni con Due Vite.